pretty early, and the skip is not too bad. So good that you've got your son there. We will get you checked in when we get Joe checked in, and it's looking good over.
All right, thank you, Dennis. And I hope everybody has a wonderful Father's Day from me and Joe both out there. You know, let them know it's from both of us since I'm checking him in. But anyway, tell all the guys out there we wish them all the best, and we'll talk to you guys. Hopefully by next weekend I'll get out here and flap my gums.
All right, sounds good. You're sounding good now, so go have some, what do we say, Foxtrot Uniform November.
Absolutely. All right, take care. I'm out. Just a barefooted quad. Just a barefooted right on a little quad. Catch you later, 99.
Hey, boys and girls, the Old Tube Radio Network here. Let me go ahead and get some early check-ins while we have them, while the skip isn't too wacky and wild. So I'll get 37. You just heard Chris check in. SWL 60 still has the antenna down. We get Joe checked in. Also, Gary, who's got stuff. A lot of people have stuff going on this weekend. 95, some 90 degrees here. We had our first, what I'll call, almost summer day in almost summer. I will get Gary checked in, SWL 28. The breaker OTR, go ahead, over.
00 or 195, like to check in.
All right, 195, we will get you checked in. We actually did draw a new 00 for the last week, which was postponed by some technical difficulties. So you did good for 8 weeks. You're off the hook. You can play hooky now and only check in once, but I got you checked in.
Okay, thank you very much, Douglas.
All right, good deal. We got Course Gold Starliner up on the hill, 195, checking in. And making sure my list reflects the right stuff here. Let's see, who else? Who else is out there? Wild Wildemar. Richard is in, 78. We'll get 78 checked in. And make it official up on the screen for 195. Make it official up on the screen for 195. And we had a lot of skip from the East Coast, from the mini grass. I actually heard the mobile station in Hawaii talking to JT, but I couldn't hear JT on old radio night, which might still be going. Let me just do a quick check-in and see if old radio night is up and running. Yeah, they're still going, so if you haven't dropped by...
Oh, Jed's saying hello to everybody and good night.
Old radio night.
I gotta go over here and sign in on Old Tube Radio Network. I'll be right back.
Go do that, because he's out and about. All right, sounding good. So we'll get SWL 00. That's Craig, 64. Caught him on the video device, so 00 is in. SWL 1 is in. SWL number 2, Mr. OBP. What did that stand for, Kevin? Ocean Beach Pearl, I think it was what OBP is out and about on the video chats. You want to say hi to Kevin, say hello radio over on the YouTube video chat. Let's see, while I'm up here talking for a second. Yeah, I want to make sure the REA meter is functioning and up and running. Looks like it is good. The brake channel, go ahead.
Dennis, can you check in downtown Farndale Control, 650, please?
All right, 650. You are checked in. Hope you're having a good day. There's plenty of it left. So continue on over.
Rocket, northwest corner, up around Seatown.
All right, thank you, 650. And let me explain myself. Here on the Old Tube Radio Network, Central California, where we will be chatting with some of those great glow-in-the-dark radios coming up right now, listening for the shortwave listeners. And we are beaconing live on your Universal Media Net web. If you go to oldtuberadio.net, you'll get the audio feed and the link to the video feed.
Hey, how about if I have an old tube linear amplifier?
You know, that might work. You've got a couple of 6 SJ6s or 6 LF6s or 6146s going on. It's good to hear.
6, the man is out in the theater station saying hello.
All right, the Old Tube Radio Network. We're here every Saturday, as when there's no fire, here every Saturday at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, taking check-in. So join us when you can.
Rocket, up around C-Town, working this old tube amplifier. Does the old tube amplifier qualify for your old radio night there?
Yeah, what amp are you running? You got great audio, by the way, over.
I'm working, I'm working a Henry amplifier, and I'm running some new technology processing. Rocket, up around C-Town. Just letting you know and trying to check in.
All right, the Henry amp is sounding good. The audio is sounding good. You got your audio rack fired up. It's on tape right now. If you go to oldtuberadio.net, you'll have a video replay of how the audio sounded here at the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for checking in.
10-4. You have yourself a great evening out there. Happy Father's Day coming up. Rocket, just working his little transmitter with his old Henry tube amplifier. Up on the northwest corner. You have yourself a good day. Rocket, stepping back in these deep woods. Got down and gone.
See, now, were I to be like Rocket and be sounding good with the Henry amplifier, we probably wouldn't have the fire in previous episodes. The Old Tube Radio Network, page 1, taking check-ins, oldtuberadio.net. And even the YouTube, they say, put something on that meter. Well, that's about the best. That's about the best I can do, what I've got. The SWL1 is in. SWL2 is in. SWL3 is working at the CARP. I think there was a bike race or something. We will get Rob checked in. SWL5, Mr. Rainmaker, might still be over on the old radio night, which is up and running. I see JT has switched over here to join us. And in fact, let me just take a moment, because JT is here, and I think he's still got the show up and running over there. So SWL21, I'm getting you checked in, sir. Over. And let me go over to ORN, see if he's abandoned ship. I don't think he would do that. Let me bring up the audio. No, it looks good. Tonight on Old Radio Night, what are we doing? It's the old school versus new school Cobra 29 LTD Classic with the DNA Hornet reverse preamp. So there's a lot of stuff going on in that picture. There's a lot of stuff going on in the video tonight over in old radio night. We heard him talking to the mini-grass. Or actually, we heard the mini-grass talking back to ORN tonight, but we couldn't catch JT. Got you checked in, 21 over.
It's working there, Dennis.
All right.
And I sip on the coffee. I sit back and I sip on Grandpa's coffee medicine. Night and night. Catch you later. You know who it is. I'm back out.
All right, sounding good. Let me get back to the chart here. SWL5 is in. How about shortwave listener number 7?
SWL7 checking in.
All right, waiting patiently. And I hear you just fine. Hopefully all is going well and you're getting some radio time.
Yes, very tired. Was in a disc golf tournament today and played 2 rounds of 18 holes.
Wow. All right. That makes me tired just thinking about the logistics on that. So, all right. Glad you could saunter up to the radio air chair and say hello. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, I may not be back later because I may be asleep.
Bye, 918.
That air chair may be a bit more comfortable. So, okay. Well, hopefully, if you leave the sound up, we don't give you strange napping dreams there. All right. Sounding good.
Thanks, Dennis.
How about it there? Hey, Dennis, can you hear 553?
Who is 53? Hello, radio.
Yeah, I'd like to check in early, my friend, and saying Happy Father's Day to everybody in the net. Yeah, you got 553 Bel Air trying to check in if you can hear me. 10-4.
All right, shortwave listener 53, Mr. Bel Air, the legend. We've got an X in the square. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining us tonight in the Old Tube Radio Network.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Have a good one. Take care. 553 back quiet.
All right, I have to get used to the foot switch tonight. So if you see me doing little dance here, it's just trying to find the switch. It's not moving around. It's just it's been so long. I'm not used to jumping on the switch. I couldn't get the one I wanted from Heil. They don't make the HL3, the one that's got the dual relays on it anymore. I guess I can't get it anywhere. So I got a suitable substitute that should keep me from doing the contortions here. The Old Tube Radio Network, we are looking for, I thought I heard Dwayne earlier, about an hour ago, when we had our first skip session. So looking for SWL10, Chrissy, if they're out and about. I want to say hello to the Squamish boys listening in, oldtuberadio.net, and over on the video. Might try you guys later on if you're around on the uplink, maybe at the end. You guys always come in great, so I might check you on the 27085 uplink where you are. So have your radios and antennas ready to go. SWL11 and SWL10. Dapper Dan and Dan are looking good. Cornbread is feeling good. All right, well, that's a good thing. If you look good, you should also feel good. Let me get 11 checked in and SWL 12 checked in, and I'm still not smelling any smoke. That's a good thing. SWL 13, I will check with Michael. He can check in, and he often does at oldtuberadio.net. Like Robert's doing, SWL 111. Let's get 111 checked in. Says he can't hear too much tonight. Yeah, the skip is there, but it's not as bad as it has been. What is going on with Sangertown? I'm a little bit on the low power side, so I'm not even sure if I'm making it through the skip. Hello, Sean.
How about that, OTR? SWL 14 checking in. Glad to hear you back on the air there. And a happy Father's Day to all the dads out there this weekend. SWL 14 in Sanger checking in.
All right, thanks for the Father's Day greetings. You're sounding great. No problem hearing you whatsoever. So if you've got some radios and it sounds like you do, we'll get you checked in. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I agree, OBP. The only smoke I smell is the neighbor's barbecue, and that is a good thing. Sean out of Sanger sounding good on the Browning. SWL 16, Charlie and the gang, and they do have the fire extinguisher at the ready. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. I took my fire training, took the red limo out. We did the fire training class all week, so I am ready. They must have been watching the video. So this guy needs to be prepped on what happens when things start burning up. Let's go to SWL 17. The Echo link is up, so we can get you there if possible. SWL 18.
You're not rough, man. But look at the hand out there, man. Happy Pappy's Day coming around tomorrow. The concrete man on the Big Island, Shaka Wave. Aloha.
And 18, I'll get Mr. KDA checked in from Facebook. And Charlie, I did see you there. Did I press the button? Let me double check and make sure that 16 got, because it logs it in somewhere. I don't know if you get points, if you get blue chip stamps for checking in, but I got to check that button. I got to make sure I make the button say checked in.
Hey, check, channel 11. Check, channel 11. Moses Lake, stand by.
This is the check channel 11 frequency. Also checking in, SWL-19 out of Derby, New York. Yeah, oh, I see what you did. Did they put asbestos in the cue cards now? I hope not. Yeah, okay. Because the cue cards are flammable. So I see your Chet is standing a little bit farther away from the air chair tonight. It doesn't want the flames to get on the cue cards. That's okay. I can still see him. You're right, nice and large. Let's go to SWL-20. I'm giving 20 a proxy check-in. He might be in later tonight. He has been assisting in the redo of the reverse preamp. We found a couple of issues besides the giant resistor that decided to catch on fire. So we're still working on that. But we do have a replacement reverse preamp tonight. SWL-21 checked in early and still going strong over on Old Radio Night. Are they still? Let's check back in. Let's check back in with Old Radio Night and see what's happening there. Is it still running? It's hard to say. Did I turn it off? Oh, there it is. I hear myself. Okay, well that's from long ago. Well, the Unit 21 is still out there on Old Radio Night. Let's go to SWL-22.
I hear you, Dennis.
Okay, there's the check-in right here. Let me give this the check-in. Here's the official check-in.
Get ready to say hello to Dennis.
I'm not watching online.
From moments ago. Coming up. He's got a lot of radios on that table tonight. Radio Randy stopping by. Yeah, we have conditions from the north. It's not quite in from Arizona yet. We talked to somebody up in Washington.
Dennis, thank you.
All right, and there's the confirmation on Old Radio Night.
Man on the big island cruising the Mobile.
All right, back to the control room, the directed net roll call, the Old Tube Radio Network.
Hawaii, aloha.
A lot of people stopping by tonight. Let me get Neil checked in, SWL 147 while he is here.
And back out.
And saying hello, radio, to everyone. What was the skip like? Did you get any skip in today? Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, says 147. And we will get you checked in.
The concrete man, come on down.
And also get Radio Randy checked in. Had a great conversation with him just a couple weeks ago right here on the Old Tube Radio Network. And then we went up to 10 meters where he was no less than 20 over, sounding good. All right, Randy, we got you checked in.
Right out at Grand Plain Station, man. Heard you earlier, but couldn't put.
And Eric, I don't know. I think I'm too much of a mud duck to drop the proverbial hammer on the mini grass, but you never know.
Aloha.
Back to page 1, looking for 23 Skidoo. Let me take a standby on that. He may have some interesting items when he comes up. SWL 24.
Yeah, 24 checking in. Man, we're just cruising around.
All right, sounding good through the skip, Joe. We've got you checked in. Thanks for stopping by. And still, I turned off the fans. I'm still hearing wind noise coming through. Well, we have a little bit of a warm breeze tonight. SWL 25 gets the proxy check in.
You guys making it rough for my ears in the cab there, concrete man. Come on down.
Jerry is out with the band tonight, the Donnie Reb Band, doing a big performance. And Richard saying you talked to Mitch. All right, talk to 23 Skidoo on the short skip. Very interesting. We'll get a full report on that. He's just too close. We'd have to have a super short skip, but where he's at, you get the ducting sporadic E. It works pretty good. Page 2, we are looking for SWL 27. Wasn't sure if we'd have a crossband, but it is set up for Dwayne. SWL 28. Gary checked in a little bit earlier. He will stop by again to say hello, radio.
Hey out there, Chief 5-7. The Cow Creek Band. The Mobile got down.
SWL 29. Got to check in for loaner. SWL 30. I'll see. I'll put it out. Hello, Idaho. I'll get Dwayne checked in. I'm sure he was in there earlier. I don't know if he heard me or not during the skip. SWL 31. The Mod Squad Mobile. What are the... Chet is saying, hold up the badge. Oh, I didn't do that. I was supposed to hold up when we were talking to JT and talking about old radio night.
K6VLF, KJ6WK.
I was supposed to hold up the old radio night badge. There it is. Can we go to the less than stellar for the people viewing? The less than stellar close-up camera. There you go. Still going on. Going strong, and I need that tower. JT, I need to borrow your old radio night tower. Let's go to SWL 32. SWL 33, myself, Bozo Control. The Honking Proboscis, thank you, Bozo Control. And I'm getting used to this foot switch. SWL 34, Jimmy and the gang out there in Batavia. There's another uplink. I have a feeling that we'll be able to talk to Jim direct, or at least hear him direct on one of the uplinks. We're going to set that up here at some point. I'm giving him an X in the skirt because he is out and about. Thank you, Jim, for all the Facebook time you spend making sure that everybody knows what's happening in the world of 11 meters and railroading and then some. SWL 35. That is none other than Red Monkey Communications himself. Mr. Bill, I am checking you in from, I don't know if it's a cool Cheyenne, Wyoming. Maybe you guys are having a heat wave. We're sending you some weather. Mr. Bill looking good. SWL 36. Shortwave shortwave listener 37. That was Chris. He checked in a little bit earlier, visiting with relatives. He's got his son over. A good thing to do for Father's Day, right? SWL 38. Sam is out in Byron, California. He will often use the Hawaiian island, the mini grass repeater, to get a check in here, but we're not getting that much skip tonight. It's there, but we're going to have to do it live and direct. Mark, or rather Sam, we've got you checked in. And Mark says the jingle changers. You know what we didn't do? We didn't do an official show open with the Mr. Announcer and everybody else. So let's take a pause. Let me see. Are they ready? I always kind of throw it at them. So they got to be by the microphones. Hold on. All right, I think they're here. I'm not even sure if they're queued up, but here we go. Will be the official start of the Old Tube Radio Network.
Find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Okay. Thank you for the reminder, Mark, on that. Let's get back to the studio. And I'm still hearing... You know what that... I know what that is. I know what that sound is. Hold on. All right, I think that works. I fixed the expander. The downward expander was breaking, so maybe that annoyance. If you're listening with the low frequency, you would hear that. Otherwise, you probably won't hear that. Sam is in, 38. Thank you, Sam. Oh, my goodness. Smarty Jones, where have you been? We had the people out looking for you. We had the doors unlocked. Even left out a little trail of cookies. Smarty Jones, Jones, out of New York, joining us back for the Old Tube Radio Network. Good to have you on board this evening. SWL 39. SWL 40. Got a note to check in Larry, who is probably waving his hand somewhere. You should try the crossband, Larry.
You know, as soon as I change coaxes off of the Browning, you come in here, Dennis.
Why is that? It shouldn't work that way. SWL 30 is checked in along with 10, over.
I sure appreciate that. Yeah, it's crazy how that happens, but yeah, I just switched over to the Robin, and yeah, you come right in there.
All right, well, we got good openings to the north. It may shift to the south. The mini grass has sort of gone away. Big S7 on my low noise level tonight, so we've got proof that you did it, over.
There you go. All right, sounds good. 73s will be listening up. If it picks up, we'll put the Browning on.
All right, sounding good. Direct check-in for SWL 30 at the microphonium on the Robin. SWL 10 as well. Great receiver. I mean, I'm at about a third of the power, right? I'm only at 1 watt. I'm only at 1 watt instead of 3.5 watts tonight. Also joining us, Hans is listening in. Copenhagen is in tonight. Good to have our across the ocean people listening. What is I can never remember the time frame for you guys out there. I think it's early in the morning, as the song goes. Let's go to SWL 41.
316 Big Island, 357, 316 for White Islands, Brigo.
SWL 41, Mr. Road Dog 507. SWL 42.
Yeah, that's Proxy and 42 in the gang.
Will do. Hope to hear him back on the airwaves soon. Hope everything is okay out that way. Got him checked in, and the group when they get up there. SWL 43.
Trying to call for Honolulu out there. 357, 316 with...
Check in for Crazy Eddie. SWL 44, who probably can't hear me, especially tonight on AM, but man, does he sound good. 360 always sounding good on the Friday night Ditch Banks sideband net, so we'll get 360 checked in. 5 o'clock in the morning. Thanks, Hans. So the sun, if it's like it is here, the sun's coming up, trying to come up. So thanks for joining us, whether it's with some hot chocolate or some tea or orange juice or coffee. Thanks for joining the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 45, Paul up in North Fork. Paul, if you're listening, Paul, I've got you checked in, over. And Paul is back in the air chair. He was away recovering, or I should say he is recovering from some medical procedures, so he is listening in tonight. Not supposed to do any heavy lifting and changing the coax on the radio, so that's okay. We got you checked in. Let's go to SWL 46. And there is Mr. 507, SWL 41, checking in from Hudson Valley, New York. I'll make it official, because my internet is probably on the slow side. Let's go to SWL 47.
Good evening, OTR. Reluctantly from the Radio Lounge. This was supposed to be the evening of an attempt, at least, of a tube check-in from Morrow Rock, but that was just not in the cards. So we're in the radio lounge this evening.
The radio lounge is a good place to be. We'll keep the possible portable tube radio check-in from a Big Rock on the to-do list. But you're sounding good, and I've got you checked in over.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And for those of you that are worried, the camping trip got canceled, but I did, thankfully, or thanks due to the state of California, I did get supplied with some entertainment by being assigned jury duty. So went from an awesome camping trip to jury duty. There it is. We're all hugs and kisses over here.
Oh, no. Have you got the call us and check in every day, or are you past that part?
We're headed upstairs on Tuesday to, I don't know, to find out my fate.
Well, okay. Well, maybe, and this would certainly be a first. Maybe you can bring the radio in, get it past all the whatever, when you take the belt off and all that. Get the radio in and see if you can sit yourself in the courthouse on a north or east facing window. So when you put up the ham stick, the 11-meter ham stick, it'll just beacon out the window. We'll be able to hear you. All right, that's sounding good to me. We got you checked in.
Thank you. And now you've got the gears churning in my mind, trying to smuggle in a robin. I wonder if that would set off the metal detector. Well, we'll see about that. There it is, 73.
All right, well, just be careful with that. Otherwise, I will be on a jury duty saying, I know that guy. He's a good guy. All right, so thanks. 47. Just when you think you've got just a little time to breathe, right? You get the little postcard. You get the letter. Well, it could be interesting. I know, but then you can't talk about it. Let's go to SWL 48. Sam, she checked in somewhere. I'm going to get Mr. KP in. Let's go to see if we can make the skip out to Brian, SWL 49.
And sometimes
All right, thanks. We'll get Smitty and Sweet Country Mama checked in. Thanks for that. Well, I don't know, Richard. We might get some short skip in tonight. We'll have a couple of stations checking in. SWL 50. Hello, Mark. Now we're hearing them coming in from down under. I might not make it through the skip. SWL 51. Hello, Dave. Over. SWL 51. SWL 52. And I'm looking around. You see me looking around the room because 52, he could check in from there, from over there.
K6USY.
And from right there. Okay. It's just you got to get that internet delay going. KB6GFD. Hey, I hear you. I was looking around the room trying to figure out where you would come in.
Very good. From behind the golden microphone, SWL 52 will soon be on the OTR frequency. The radio did show up today, but I won't have an antenna for this band for a couple weeks. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, sounds good. We're looking forward to hearing the modulated, the AM modulated golden microphonium. Thanks for checking in, KB6GFD.
Roger, K6USY.
All right, as you heard from the crossband, live and direct, 52, 53, Mr. Belair, we got you checked in from earlier items. I know you're still out there, but thanks for listening.
Yeah, I wanted to check 603. Joe, 603 is putting a roof on his house.
Okay, we've got Joe, Mr. Hustler, in as well. Thanks for that.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
All right, and over back to Sanger. Thanks, Dave. Says the skip is too loud. Yeah, I'm still limping along here at, you know, 1.5 watts or whatever. Whatever it is, I don't know. I can't read that watt meter, so thanks for checking in over on the alternate page. You're sounding good Friday night, though, on sideband. Let's go to SWL 54. I got a proxy in for 54, SWL 55. And let's see, before I call the number, let me see if the Walking Man is in tonight. Well, you know, it's not redrawn my screen. There it goes. My internet, you know, I think my internet is slow. I can give you a weather report. The weather report down the street. The wind is at 0. I don't think that's... Oh, 4 miles per hour. All right. And temperature's 89 at 34% humidity. So there you go. SWL 56. Hello, Phil.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56, just for kicks.
All right. Doing a good job. Enjoying the almost summer weather in the almost summer time that it is. Thanks for checking in. All right, I'm missing the chat. Who's got a 101 ZD? That would be, we're doing hybrid radios. That would be a check-inable radio. I think the ZD still has the 6JS6s and the 12BY7 in the final. I mean, we're hearing tubes on that. You never know. Who else is on? SWL 57, I see you there. Brown Dog Audio checking in. Beautiful day in Kentucky, he says. Spent the day in the shop cleaning up and organizing. That's what I need to do. Just got the air conditioning installed yesterday. Perfect timing on the air conditioning. So you did good. Thanks for checking in. SWL 58. SWL 59. Uncle Hairball is in. He was looking good over on old radio night tonight. So 59, I'm getting you checked in. Who else is out there? Hello to Jake from State Farm out in the Pacific Northwest. Jake, you ought to be able to hear us, maybe. Or hear some of our stations checking in who are actually have better stations than myself. Because we are hearing the Pacific Northwest coming in and out tonight. So give us a listen here on 27085 over to SWL 60, who is checked in. I hope Joe gets everything set up the way he wants it when he gets back in. Let's go to SWL 61. Dino. I'll get a check in for Copenhagen. He was sounding good Friday night. SWL 62. From northeast, or is it northwest? I can never remember. North Georgia. How about, let's just call it North Georgia. I got to check in for Mr. Butterbean. And the guy who is 00 is also SWL 64. Craig came in earlier and said, can you give me a check-in? And I said yes, and then I said yes. And so here's the second yes. All right, Jake listening in on 11 meters, 27085. GWD Labs has flipped the radio switch to beacon in to 27.08. He's tuning it in now, 08084, 49, 495, 496, 497. Okay, there it is, 27085. Right on frequency. Check, check. SWL 65. SWL 66. Shortwave listener 67.
State Farm, West Coast. Checking in, see if I can't be heard on that East Coast.
Hey, and there he is. You heard it. There was State Farm, Jake checking in. Yeah, you may not hear me, Jake, but you're going to hear yourself on the replay. Sounding pretty good, actually.
Trying out there for that old tune radio network.
Yeah, there's Jake. Sounding good, Jake. We can hear you. Listen for your replay.
Yeah, I'm listening. Throwing it out there to that old radio network. Shorehand, Jake State Farm, West Coast office. Waving ahead.
And then you find out it's hard to listen to something else and talk, and then when that other thing is you. Jake out there in State Farm sounding good. Just armchair copy floating into the old Tube Radio Network tonight. Thanks, Jake, for giving us a shot. So we do have some good conditions tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Out that way. You guys have a good night out in that area. Jake State Farm, West Coast office.
And good audio. Love the audio. SWL 67, we didn't hear. SWL 68, Michael in New York. Cool, Jake. Like the check-in. You guys from the Northwest know how to do it. SWL 68 checked in earlier. Michael out of New York. SWL 69, Kenny out of Tulsa, checking in earlier on the video. So, Kenny, if you're watching live or the replay, there's the check-in, live and direct. Let's go to SWL 70.
Mission 9, right. Man, them blowing it up there at 6910, and yeah. Little 2-bit radio, Jake State Farm up here in the northwest corner, looking at the Hood Canal.
Sounding good from the Hood River. SWL 71. Let me get back to my right radio chart here and put a hello radio in for Stan, who is checking in. Good to hear you, Stan, out of Dallas, Georgia. I didn't run the list. I didn't see, they gave me the list about who is coming in tonight. Hello from lots of Fresno stations, Edmonton, Alberta, Newcastle, Virginia, Squamish Boys. We'll see if we can't pick them up later in the program. Plymouth, Minnesota is what it says. Now that could be or it could be not, where it's 73 degrees. At a little bit after 10:30 in Plymouth. Thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network. Hello to Hans is listening in, of course, from Copenhagen. Hello, Kerman, Dallas, Georgia, Fairfax, Virginia, and the unknown SWL. At least you know who you are. Let's go to SWL 72. And I heard Radio Boy checking into something, so I will give him in the X in the square. SWL 73. And John was up in his digs up in Tehachapi for the VHF-UHF contest, probably beaconing all over the place on various frequencies. So we'll get John checked in. SWL 74, Miss Jilly out there with 25. Let's go to SWL 75. I think, Mark, it's 1.5 times the 1,000 is correct on the wattage, but move the decimal point over, and put it between the first one and that 0, and you've got it. Let's try SWL 77.
Good evening, Dennis, and hello to everyone out there far and wide. 73s to all the listeners, and I hope all the dads have a wonderful day tomorrow and a safe Sunday. 77 on the old peanut whistle. Check it in.
All right, sounding good, doing it. Thanks for the Father's Day greetings. Excellent squared. Always good to have a station, unlike myself, that, you know, all those people listening in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, all of a sudden their meter, the needle goes up into the red, and they know that, yes, indeed, the Old Tube Radio Network is on the air. And I'm sure, I bet Jake from State Farm, who we just heard, probably heard you quite well. Thanks for checking in.
And thank you.
All right, 21's got the coast to coast and on an iPhone. Yeah, those remote guys. You know, they got Parks on the air and Summits on the air, and we've got Tubes on the air. Who coined that? I think that was Tony. Coined Tubes on the air. So maybe it's just everywhere on the air when you get that East Coast, West Coast thing going simultaneously and at the same time. SWL 78, Richard from Wild Wildemar is in. SWL 79. SWL 80. All right, and Trying to get this thing to work. Bob and Steve are in. They got postponed last week due to a little smoke and flames, but they are here, doing quite well. We ended up having a nice party, and we used the big red limo to expedite the sick piece of equipment over to Harvey and getting things set up. So let's see what is happening on the Bob and Steve show tonight.
27.085 OTR channel 11.
I know, they're shaming me. It's like I almost forgot. I almost forgot which jingle to cue for them. It's been so long. A reminder, on episode 171, June 17th, 2023, Bob and Steve say, don't forget tomorrow is Father's Day. The Jingle Singers did a great job on Flag Day just a couple of days ago, last Wednesday. Very nice. Flags everywhere on the parades. They even did those little small ones that they put down on the ground in a nice row. They must have bought a couple hundred of those. Those look good. The Jingle Singers did a great job, as always, and I'm sure that you've been hearing a lot of construction noise lately, and you meaning me, and yes, I have. And it says they have added a tennis court, so please sign up for times on the bulletin board by the elevator. So what did we get rid of to put in the tennis court? Or was that all that weed-filled land behind the fence there? But it looks good now. I noticed there were no more weeds. I'm all for that, even if I can't play tennis. So sign up for that by the elevator to get in on the tennis tournaments. The pool continues to stay busy. 120 by 60 was the correct decision. I remember when that went in, and all that dirt. It's like, what are we going to do with all that dirt? But they managed to get rid of it. Do something cool with the dirt. On display today, they have a 1968 Courier CB Radio 23 Plus. Will we hear one of those tonight? Probably not the one on display because the coax didn't reach, but we could have a Courier tonight. $20 with no tubes. All right, well, we definitely won't be hearing that one. They found a complete set of tubes in the trunk of the Buick. Well, I think those are for the RCA. I think those tubes were for the Zenith radio, but if they work, keep them in there. We'll find some other ones. At the bar tonight and out by the pavilion from the Speedway, Indiana, barbecue bourbon on Main Street, smoked sausage with sides of baked beans and potato salad. You can join us after the net. Doggone it, as SWL 60 would say, join us during the net because the stuff is there and ready to go. And of course, say it along with me. Don't forget to feed the fish.
27.085 OTR channel 11.
All right, back in a moment. I'm going to let some stuff cool off here. Well, Skip is relatively quiet tonight, except for the good kind, right? The kind we like to hear that gets us some check-ins. SWL 81. Shortwave listener 82.
82, checking in from the Ditch Banks of Biola. Good evening.
And there you are. Boy, I thought for sure that you might be out, at the circle track or doing something tonight, but there you are.
Who's that on Iowa?
You.
Well, I picked up some antennas and got home and just didn't feel like going down to Hanford. So here I am. It's fun times here on OTR, and I could watch the race from the TV set. So anyway, thanks to the internet, we got racing on, and we got OTR on, and cold drinks are flowing.
Oh, man. All right. That's the way to... Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out my foot switch. That is the way to do it. You can switch channels between tubes and tires, and in the meantime, you can stay, what does it say, hydrated. Now, I just read something where they said water isn't even the best thing for hydration. I won't tell you what they said was better than water, but I'm sure you're probably sampling some things that just might be. Thanks for checking in.
All right. I like to say the 3 R's, radio, racing, and rum. How's that? All right, Dennis, thanks for doing the net, and have a good one.
All right, we got a couple people saying hello to you on the chat. Tracy says, say hello to 82, which I will. And a reminder that voice you just heard, you will hear even louder and better on Friday evenings, 8 p.m. Pacific time, Pacific Daylight Time, if you tune to 36 lower sideband for the Ditch Bank's sideband net. If you're not on the list, he'll get you on. You don't need to be on the list. He's got a visitors hello section, so got some conditions like tonight, and you are not quite in the Central Valley. Give it a listen on 27.365 36 lower on Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Thank you, Ron. And unlike me, he's got a good radio and a good antenna. You will hear him. Let's go to SWL 83. Shortwave listener 84. And I will get 84, 86, 87, and 88 checked in. That's Cheerios Kid, Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl, respectively. SWL 89. And an old tube radio reminder, SWL 78 reminds us that when reinstalling the transmit crystals in your tube radio, when you take them out to polish them up, don't forget to observe the proper polarity. Not only do you need to put them in the proper slot, so when you go back to A, B, C, D, they're all in the right order. You do need to observe that crystal polarity. I don't know if they have like a capacitor where one pin is a little bit shorter, or maybe there's a plus and minus. Harvey would know all about that. Let's go to SWL 90. Got a proxy in for 90. Heading over to Mr. Felix, SWL 91. Right there. I'm waiting because I think my internet is slow tonight. Saying hello, radio to everybody here at OTR. The SWLs, and of course those old tube radio operators. And you've got everything. You've got the radio. Is that a fire? Is that a flame? I don't think we're going to do that one. We'll do the bozo. We'll do the refreshments, the radio, the high five, the flames. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. Let's go to SWL 92. My back feels better not having to do all that twisting and turning. SWL 93. SWL 95. Warthog 95, to be specific. From, of course, beautiful Orlando, Florida. Have I heard Florida on 40 meters? The band has been weird. It has been long and then short and long at the same time. So I'll have to get my I'm even listening for Dr. Mal there on 7188 on the hole in the wall net. He's out in Hollywood, Florida, but I always hear him. Let's go to, and I got you checked in, 95, you're sounding good. Let's go out to Kerman, SWL 96. And Kerman Town was listening in on over at oldtuberadio.net. And I bet that was Mr. Prunepecker, so I will get the X in the square for Dennis. Who's joining us? Course Gold. Hello to Course Gold, and also Yellow Springs, Ohio. Yellow Springs, Ohio, the village in Greene County. Population around a little less than 4,000. And where it is clear. 61 degrees just before midnight. Thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's look for Randy. Oh, we got Radio Randy. He was in, I'm sorry, I'm skipping too many. he's like, no, go back. All right, sorry about that. Prunepicker's in SWL 97. Hello, Jim. I know, if I would just read the cue cards, these things wouldn't happen. Boston 97. He was in Old Radio Night tonight, I know. I heard him over there, saw him over there. So, Jim, if you're listening, I'll get you checked in. 97. There is Tracy with the official X in the square and the check. 98, I've got you checked in. Over. Okay, and as I mentioned, we heard Randy from near Phoenix. Or we didn't hear him, but he checked in. So we just might hear him. He said he was going to check back in. A little bit later, let's try out the Echo link, were I to actually have it up and running, and see if we can't get a hold of Tony out in McClellanville, South Carolina. KD4BAO, KB6GFD.
Good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL 100. Good to hear you. Sound great. Back to net control, KD4BAO.
All right, thanks for checking in. You are sounding likewise. We are preparing for the TOTA, Tubes on the Air. Coming right up, thanks. KB6GFD. All right, Echo Link up and running. Thanks, Tony. Good audio on the Echo Link tonight. SWL 102, looking for John out there in Arkansas. And he is right there, 73's to wall. Says he's glad I'm back on the air. Me too. Glad I'm back on there. You know, you can't smell a bit of smoke on the seersucker suit. So we all did good around here. Last Saturday night was like the 4th of July without fireworks. All right, well, thanks. It's glad to be back, and hopefully we will get a lot of tube radios checking in tonight and maybe some information as well. Let's go to shortwave listener 103. Up to the hill to the city of Auberry for SWL 109.
Good evening, Dennis. Crawdad 109 checking in.
All right, sounding good here on AM. The skip is dying down, but your signal, as always, is well modulated and sounding good. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis.
That takes us to SWL 110. SWL 111, Robert checked in early. SWL 113. Okay, I hear somebody out there. Was that 113 over? Okay, probably Skipland. Hello to, who is that? Bolt. Hello to Bolt. All right, here's a station I will not have trouble hearing. SWL 114.
114 checking in.
114, hello, Rickshaw. We'll put the X in the square, and you are sounding good. Thanks, as always, for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Thank you for the check-in, Dennis.
I can hear you.
And just a reminder, this is the Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark, where on Saturday evenings we endeavor to check in, talk about, and look for as many of the classic tube radios manufactured in 1958 through about 1978 for the 11-meter citizen band radio service as possible. You can join us by checking in on this frequency, 27085, if you are in the zone. If not, listen to us at oldtuberadio.net on your Universal Media Net web, where you can also find a link to a video that is going on simultaneously and at the same time. Over we go to, we're heading to Fairfax, Virginia, SWL 128. And John is there. John is there checking in. Thank you, John. Good to see you on the screen. Shortwave listener 131. Okay, nothing from 131. How about SWL 133? SWL 135.
If this thing is working, SWL 135 checking in.
It's working well. It's working good now. It's working well, and sounds like it might be something for our tube radio list coming right up. Thanks. Got a proxy check-in for a shortwave listener 137. That takes us over to Tony, SWL 145.
Yeah, good evening, SWL 145, checking in.
All right, Tony. Yeah, sorry about the last week. There was confusion. I didn't update the auto log, so it defaulted to a previous program, and then we had a little, what we'll call it, electronics malfeasance in the shack, and so we are back. I don't know if you can hear me, but you are sounding good. I've got you checked in.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. Yeah, I was kind of checking in all over the place last week.
All right, and Tony, the voice you just heard also, I would say he runs a net. He's a net controller a couple of mornings on the 2-meter net, and he sent me a couple questions. I'll read them, give you an answer, but I always like these. PL259 connectors are not generally used for UHF transmission line connectors. For what reason? So, you know the PL259s and then the N-style connectors, but the reason you might not use them for UHF, above like 200 megahertz, and so transmissions, what would be the reason? And the reason is the display non-constant impedance as frequency increases. So as you get higher in frequency, you're likely not to get the proper impedance matching, just because of those. Talk about shortwave listeners. Those are the really shortwave listeners. So then they need a different type of connector, typically the N-style. All right. Number 2. So take your PL259s if you have them, and we'll talk about the antennas. A shipboard antenna described as having multiple parallel wires and is secured to ship masts with a yoke arrangement is known as what? So that is, and actually I'll give you a hint. I think if you listen to the SDRs out in Half Moon Bay and the one in Utah, they're using these large, similar wire antennas, just like them. I think they're 100 feet, 300 feet, like on a ship. So anytime you have multiple parallel wires secured to a mast on a yoke arrangement, you might be able to tilt it, you might not. It's a famous person, and that's called a Marconi style antenna. And that's when they were first doing all this stuff. They didn't have, let me turn the beam. It's sort of like, let's put as much wire in the air as possible on big wooden structures or metal structures or whatever. And at some point, all that RF that we're throwing in the air will get hung up on those wires, and we might hear something. So a Marconi antenna is pretty cool. I think the one on Half Moon Bay actually qualifies as a Marconi antenna, so that's why it hears it so well. All right, thanks, Tony. Always like the questions. SWL 147 Neil was in earlier, and I got him checked in. Let's see if Bobby is hanging out with the skip land dying out here. SWL 188. I know sometimes he said if the skip isn't happening, it gives him a chance to actually go, like, do the dishes or get out of the air chair. I will get Bobby checked in. I think he was in last night. SWL 195, Jim is out in Coarse Gold. He did check in earlier. If you're out there, Jim, I'm putting the X in the square one more time. And the guy was up in the Mariposa Hills last night, just killing it down here in the valley. SWL 226. That's Jeff, Mr. Shockwave. I'll get him checked in. He was like 10 over up at the hill on Mariposa. Anybody else? Anybody else need to get checked in, standing by for me, or I missed you? OTR is listening. And the J-pole, originally designed for blimps. Yeah, the blimp sort of had a dangling, two-wire situation, like a J-pole, like the longer and the shorter. So yeah, it had to be something that would kind of float along and not get caught up in anything. All right, I'm going to take a short break to get everything ready for the tube radios. I can hear that there are already some ready to go. And we will bring out the old tube radio list. Things are going well. Let's hope we can get through another hour here without wackiness, at least on my end. The old tube radio network, back in a moment. switch some stuff up here. Switching. Reconnoitering. Reswitching. Reconfiguring. Reconfiguring number 2. Buffering number 3. That looks good. That's also buffering number 3. And my friends, I think we are back in business. I keep wanting to hit the key, and it's the foot switch. It's the foot switch, doggone it. All right, here we go. I think we're back on the air. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
I'm going to have to do some exercises. I'm not used to keeping the foot switch depressed. That's for our stations who are live and direct. Let's see. I think I'm... Yeah, let me bring up the REA meter once again. Do I have audio? Yes, I do. That's a good thing. It's Tube Radio time. I have the list ready to go, and I hope we can fill up a lot of spaces here. I also have... We've pre-set up the E.F. Johnson, and... They've given me the pen so I can get going with what we need to do. Budco Medtronics Incorporated. I think we've done them before. Do we have multiple Budco pens? Mr. and Mrs. Budco at their Medtronics. Let me go to the less than stellar close-up cam so that you may or may not see. Yeah, Budco Medtronics. Well, that's just... You know, if you'd stop moving around, you'd be able to see that. But anyway, it's really less than stellar. Wholesale electronic parts at 8. Oh, 8, I can't read this. 8 component. The little pen, the little clip is in the way. Oh, and components. Wholesale electronic parts and components. I thought it said 8 something. They use the ampersand at 601 West 11th Street in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana. In the 46262 area code. Okay, let's get rid of that picture. You can see all the junk. Okay, let's go back. I'm going to stop talking for a whole bunch because it is time to check in the radio's OTR listening.
135, 135.
Okay, we heard Australia, but they were no match for the Green Arrow. Step up into the air chair without further ado, Cliff, and we'll get you checked in. Over.
They might have to give it a coconut.
Yeah, great. Yeah, now that I get on here, now the skip starts coming in. Okay, anyway, if this thing is still working, this is SWL 135 on radio from Laconia, New Hampshire. This is the Browning R27 S23. That's R27 receiver S23 sending unit, and I get to see the cool on-the-air window light on the transmitter. Back to you.
Yes, it does have one of those. Oh, this is the one that I always have trouble from your collection finding because it is not in the Rolodex. Let me at least put it up. Whoa, that was interesting. Saw a flash of a robin there for a second. All right, but we'll get the R27, S23, R27, the receiver unit, S23, the sending unit, the smaller size, and this one is showing a 180 amp, which I don't think you're using. But it sounds good. I don't know if you said you might swap out a microphone, but it sounds like you did not, and it's working well. Over.
Oh, that's good. Oh, and I forgot to mention what that was. Yeah, this is the astatic D104 amplified Night Eagle. So the golden black one. It's the Night Eagle, which I thought was a good thing to go on the Eagle, because this is also known as the Browning Eagle, preceding, of course, all the Golden Eagle stuff. It has 16 tubes altogether, if I remember correctly. That's 11 in the receiver and 5 in the transmitter. But all 23 channels in the AM only mode. Back to you.
Sorry, I keep pulling my CW key, trying to key up, and nothing happens because it's not connected. Sounding good. Let me go back. We don't need to see me. Let me go back to the radio. And hello, who is that? Somebody's waving at. Oh, Popcorn 913. Say hello, radio, to everybody listening in, saying radio sounds good, and it does. Nice and loud audio without being overdone. It is pure Browning Eagle, and this is the Eagle. Where is the Eagle? Oh, there it is. Let me go to the close-up, extreme close-up. Oop, what happened here? Oh, there it is. And it appears that the Eagle only, and maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like the Eagle is only showing up on the transmitter, right?
That is correct. Yeah, there's a little, like, I don't know, a side view silhouette in a little circle of an eagle head on the transmitter, but nothing like that on the receiver, oddly enough.
Well, maybe that was a last-minute thing, or they said, well, just, silk screen that on there, the little silhouetted eagle head. That's about as close as I can get, but there's the on-the-air light. There's the meter. You got 2 meters. Oh, that's right. You got to have a meter for the receiver, obviously, and a meter for the transmitter to show some RF. Or does it do? I see a selectable switch. Do you do SWR with that?
Yes. Yeah, it does SWR. Now I got to look here in the dark. I am out here in the CB cabana. Let's see. Oh, yeah. The bottom selection is modulation, so you can use that meter as a modulation meter. Then forward power and reflected power. So, yeah, it does modulation and SWR. And, of course, right now I have it in the forward power mode to hopefully indicate that I do have forward power. But also there is a nicely blinking modulation light and a spotlight. When you press the spot button, you get a tone if it's working properly. And that light, the amber light underneath the on-the-air window comes on as well. It's lots of good indicators and things for you to check out. The meter on the receiver just does receive. And you are incidentally swinging just above S9. Back to you.
All right. Well, at least your meters were. I had a shot of another unit there, but it was strange. It had an eagle on the across the front, so it was modified. And it didn't have the eagle on the transmitter. So let's stick with the one that's a little bit more standardized. Audio is good. I noticed when you move around, so I'm going to ask you to stay perfectly still. And I think you said it was a bad connector or a wire on the cord. So I definitely can tell when you are fidgeting in your air chair. Over.
That was a terrible ping. Okay, I am now saying absolutely still. How is that? Is that better? It's dirty contacts, the little leaf spring contacts in the D104 need to be cleaned, and it's a difficult operation for me. So sometime I will get to it.
Not a problem. I hesitated there because I heard another Browning key up, but I don't think they can hear us out there in the land down under. But you just never know. They just might. Looking good. Give us another transmission. I will check your. Oh, I'm not. You know what? I'm not even on frequency. There we go. I will check your frequency now that I'm on frequency. Over.
That's a better ping.
Okay, according to my
849 and 0850. So, yeah, I should be pretty close to, like, right on. What do you got over there? Back to you.
I have. You are pretty close to right on. When I go to either upper or lower side band, no, we're on in. When I go to either upper or lower slot bucket, you sound perfectly in tune.
That's a bit of a scratchy one. They're all different, aren't they? All have different individual keys. Nope. There. I got to hold it just right, or else it starts scratching. Oh well. Anyway, that is the R27S23 Eagle from Browning Laboratories in Laconia, New Hampshire. Back to you, and well, thanks for letting me check it in. Thanks for being back here to do this, and I can't wait to hear it.
Which you can easily by going to oldtuberadio.net. There's an audio file that's probably really hard to bring up, or there's I think the videos just keep happening. I don't know. They don't, for some reason, they don't go away. They don't get erased. There's nobody. Remember the 8.5 minutes of silence? That doesn't seem to happen with the YouTube video. So you can, I put the S meter up so you can give yourself a radio check. On our first radio of the evening, the Browning Eagle R27S23 through the skip here at the Old Tube Radio Network in Central California. Hello to Yellow Springs, Ohio. Did we already say hello to you? I don't remember. But there you are. All right, you are doing good, and thanks for getting us started off with the Browning. Over. And the Old Tube Radio Network is listening for more, but it's the jingle singers. It's time for them to do what they do best, and we will be back here in just a moment.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
And we are listening for radio number 2. Here, the skip picking up. I think we are definitely out of our gray line. Let me see if I can pop up the DX map here, see what we're doing on the DX map. Things are slowing down for sure, except for here on the West Coast. And there you go. Let's not get an advertisement. So Northern California, Central, right where we're at. I think if I click the button, will it show where everybody is going? Or show all the little arrows? I shot an arrow into the air, and look at that, all heading out into the Pacific from our area out here on the West Coast. And lo and behold, look at that, they're all jumping in from Hawaii and out to Australia. So that's what's happening here up and around 11 meters, 28 meters, but it is starting to fade out. Notice we've got some, as we've heard, some activity up in Washington, Oregon, British Columbia, heading down this way as well. Listening for radio number 2 on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Well, you're working at 2 there, man. Oh, the big mountain moving out the way now. Bye-bye.
Yeah, maybe it's Father's Day. Man, I can't believe I'm the only one who showed up.
Well, we'll hang out here for a while because we were gone last week. So I want to make sure we had enough time for anybody to come in and go. Now, a lot of people already checked in early tonight because they have visitors or prepping to head out to visit. And as you know, it was our first, well, not our first, but one of our first for June. Can you believe it? So June is almost over. days where it felt like it was summer. So I think it's barbecue, pool time. You know how it goes. And as long as the only smoke I'm smelling sounds like it's barbecuing chicken, that's a good thing. And 78's got 13 pounds of ribs for the barbecue. That's not all for you, I hope. The break OTR, I hear you, over. Let 61 know that we can hear him. All right, I got you, Dean. I've got 61 over. All right, well, I did put 61 in the mix. That's Dino out there in Madeira. Let me keep up here. I got you 61 over. Yeah, from the West Coast here, or at least central part of California, we are still definitely open on the gray line to Australia and Hawaii, with a little bit of sporadic educting coming in for the Pacific Northwest. And speaking of gray line, here is the gray line map. Just saying goodnight to parts of Washington, British Columbia. And as we follow along, it says approaching. There you go, approaching Hawaii. That's why they're coming up in signal strength. Listening for radio number 2. And 007 from the extremeness of CB, checking in from New Jersey. Thanks for jumping in. And Aaron, I have not seen nor have I heard a lot of hawks this spring, summer. So could it be because we had actually good weather that they don't have to fly down so far? They can stay up in the hills. There's plenty of water. There's things running around. But I know the hawk reports have been few and far between.
Hey, big box man, I need a better air conditioner. I need a better air conditioner over here. There, 410. Take care. Have a great rest of you. And make your soul broke down. Back out.
All right, there's our Pacific Northwest coming back in, Utah, Oregon, Washington. If you've got a radio, if you've got a tube radio, key it up, we'll get it checked in. Yeah, Van Man, what is up with those prices? Even just a package of hot dogs costs $7. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Van Man, you're looking good. We've got you checked in. Yeah, Richard's down in Southern California says he can hear a lot of the same stations. And I think that's how it works. Because a lot of times you think you're talking to the skip station, and of course we're hearing them, but they're also hearing us here in Central California. They're hearing big guns in Southern California and the Northern California. It takes a little bit to actually get through. I'm always amazed when Dwayne can hear us here in the Central Valley, because he's fighting with the whole state. Now, I know he's running an Eagle out there in Australia. I wish we could get him to check in. Yeah, this is the kind of skip I like. It's sort of just floating in, and you pick a voice, and then they go away, and another voice comes on top. It's not like the typical daytime stuff where you have 2 or 3 stations dominating under about 400 different stations. Let's see if we can't get the jingle singers to make them listen thing. What is that? What is that I hear?
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
OTR listening for Radio 2. Eric, hawks around here are always up to no good. And someone wrote in, wanted to know what was causing the flames last week or 2 weeks ago, or whenever it was. And what it was, in the bottom of that particular unit, was a large square 2 ohm, is that right? Yeah, 2 ohm 10 watt resistor that got hot enough to start sort of melting, smoldering, and sparking. And then the sparks coming out of the bottom of the case set off that unknown, for some unknown reason, a paper towel that was sitting on the bottom. So that's what got replaced. And then when it replaced, it failed again. So it turned out there was a shorted tube, and there were some other issues as well. So we're still kind of working over that thing. But it's like anything. It works well for 4.5 years, and it just kind of loafs along, and then something breaks, and it takes some other stuff with it. But that's what was causing the flames. One of those big square 2 ohm 10 watt resistors. This is the Old Tube Radio Network. 27085 is where we are at, and we'd like to hear your tube radio. We're standing by. Well, yeah, I agree. There's probably nobody on 10 meters, but I bet if you tune in, you will hear some beacons. And no doubt, what is the FT8 frequency? 28074. Anybody tuning in that will hear the little FT8 going on, because that's always happening if the band is open. Listening for radio number 2 on your old tube radio network. Yeah, apparently a lot of people's coaxes do not reach out to the barbecue tonight. They're probably all a little bit too short. They stop right at the little paper plate dispenser. Well, you know, that's one reason why we do the cross band and the echo link. Now, of course, that doesn't help us for the tube radios, though. Yeah, I'm waiting for Dwayne to just sort of get on the Eagle and pop out with a nice S7 signal to check in. He's really good at doing that. Let's see, why I think of it, I'm going to bring up the Squamish uplink, 27085. See, I think they're probably pretty quiet up there, so let me bring it up. You can hear the audio. There they are at 27085, and this is listening up at Squamish. You can see there's really not much. Let me zoom out here. Not much going on the band. Now, there's some stations. You can see up around 1715, but that looks more like interference or something. I don't see any audio associated with it. So that's what's going on in Squamish tonight. So if Albert and the gang are around, fire your radios up. Let's see if we can hear you guys up there, the Old Tube Radio Network. And there it is from Squamish. They're having a storm up that way. And to unplug everything safely. Plugged it back in, and we heard the voice live and direct. Yeah, Squamish is at 49 degrees and rain. And they are an hour at 9:31 p.m., so maybe they don't set the clocks back, but having some weather up that way. So thanks for risking it and getting on. You're sounding good. We got you checked in live and direct from your radio. Well, I guess everybody got the night off as I was fanning the flames, but it is good to be back into the air chair tonight. Signal is looking good. Looking on the scope here, looks good across the signal line. And boy, is it quiet up where you are. Just looking at what's going on, and there isn't much. You're the only thing on 11 meters tonight up there, so hopefully the rain didn't make too much of a mess. Over. Well, we had one of our warmest days today. It's going to cool off, but we're in June, and typically we would have 100-degree temperatures with no problem. So we're getting a little. You're sending us some cool weather. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Sounding good up there on the radio, 27085. The conditions are such that if things were good, I might even be hearing myself on the uplink replay, but just not quite happening tonight. Thanks for joining us. All right, 73, thanks for hanging out, getting on the radio live and direct, albeit through the uplink. You just never know. We might get some skip conditions and hear you. And we've done it before, to hear you coming through the radio without the help of a little SDR trickery. Thanks for joining us, the Old Tube Radio Network. Still hanging out here and still listening and waiting for radio number 2. I hear and I think I can. Queuing up.
Got a copy on this Browning Mark IV.
The Browning Mark IV is happening. Now, I don't know if you can hear me through the noise, but you're sounding just fine. Over.
I can hear you. It's a small window, I believe. Probably somebody's going to come booming in here in a minute. But I wanted to try and get on the air tonight. I'm on my Browning Golden Eagle Mark IV.
The Golden Eagle Mark IV. I am. Let's see. I just came up to a shot here. This is from C. Kevin Pitt. So let's use his nice-looking Mark IV to go with the audio from your good-sounding Mark IV. Over.
Yeah, it's hopefully making a good trip. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark IV with the amplified Silver Eagle D104 microphone.
Always good audio on that. It punches through. Not a lot of bass frequency, but it doesn't need it. And, Browning knew that if you got to sound good, you got to make sure that what Bob Heil calls those articulation frequencies are set up in the radio. And dial in the microphone of your choice. Now, I notice on this set, and I know they changed, the transmitter, it appears, is an LED or an LCD readout, but the receiver is still an analog dial. Is yours the same way?
Yeah, that's correct. It has the LED channel selector on the transmitter, and it has the amazing capability of speeding up and slowing down how fast it will select through the channels with the knob underneath it.
Okay, little gearing device, or I can't remember what they call that. And some of the amateur radio receivers have that, but not many. And the Mark IV receivers, at least for sensitivity, selectivity, I'm sure is the equivalent to a lot of good amateur radio receivers. That's why you're hearing me now when you can, because you're listening on a great receiver. Over.
SWL 14 in Sanger, if you can still hear me, on the Browning Golden Eagle Mark IV.
All right, I hear you. I just brought up the S meter. I wanted people to see my noise levels about an S1, S2, and you're at S4, although you sound a lot stronger than that, but you're above the noise and doing a good job. So we got you logged in as Radio 2 on the Browning Golden Eagle Mark IV. And was there a breaking station for OTR? I am listening. All right, 61, I hear you through the skip. Hello, Dino. 61 is checked in. 61 is checked in. Over, over. All right, well, the house, I heard you earlier. But I think you're hearing me now. So I got you checked in from the house. X in the square, as we say, over. Okay, well, I heard you there, and I hear you from the house. So good deal. Thanks for being patient. We've got you checked in.
Woo, he was loud.
He is loud. He's in the house.
Be louder if he cranks up that antenna.
Well, this is the crank up your antenna frequency. I just never seem to get around to doing that.
Do coax, crank up your antenna, and yeah, let her rip.
I gotta get some help to lay it back down. When I go up, I gotta have 3 extra people to run the bad wires.
Oh my gosh, got too many radios. I was going to fire up my other radio, but man, that skip comes in, and I don't know if I could hear you, Dennis, through the skip on my Eagle.
Well, we didn't get blasted so much tonight as we have in the past, and it was kind of that strange where things fade in and fade out and nobody's really dominating.
All righty, I'll take a standby. Listen to all the old tube radios.
Indeed. All right, speaking of listening, the Jingle Singers have come back from the pool or wherever they're at least one of them looks wet, and are ready to do the thing that they do so well.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
All right, did you hear that, Cornbread? They said wonderful and Fresno back to back. Both those words were touching. We're listening for radio number 3.
get my other radio fired up.
All right, sounds good. Did somebody listening on the video stream, did somebody say they could actually hear the Browning checking in? Oh, in Salt Lake City. All right, Wagon 390 Wagon Master. Very good. So if you're listening, Sean, one of the listeners heard you out there in Salt Lake City tonight on the Mark IV.
Listening, but the hippopotamus is stepping all over you right now. I'm on my Cobra Cam 88 now.
All right, well, I'll get a spot ready for that. They were hearing the eagle up in Utah.
I'm real sorry that I stepped on something there, mate. I don't know what I'm stepping on there, mate. I hope it's not some dog doo-doo there. Come on.
Yeah, you got the Old Tube Radio Network, and we're on Old Tube Radios, and yeah. Well, you're coming in loud and clear here in Central California.
All right, yeah, you ought to know. So, Brad, I want to say good day to you boys out there, the old Quebec and True Radio Network. It's all about all the boys out there. Take it easy. Back to Son of Ridgemont. Big old bye-bye. Quick.
Alrighty, thank you there, Hippopotamus. It's SWL14 on my Cobra Cam 88 checking in.
You know, you get extra points for that. Get a point for checking in the Cobra Cam 88. And then get a point for having Skipland actually say the Old Tube Radio Network.
Well, it was a noble effort on the Cobra Cam 88. Apparently it'll make it to Australia, but I don't think I'm making it to Fresno.
Yeah, he's talking to Utah and Australia, but can't make it to Fresno. You're sounding good. I'll get a shot of the Cam 88. Keep that one up. It's a good talker.
Okay, now I hear you there, Dennis. Yeah, the old modulation light is going like crazy, and hopefully I'm making that trip there to Fresno.
Yeah, it's sounding good. Hippopotamus gave us some airtime, and it was good. I'm going to give you an extra star for that one.
Yeah, thank you, man. That's the first skip contact I've ever made on a tube radio.
Well, now you know. Now you know why these radios are so favored.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So I'll have to mark that down. I got to talk to Hippopotamus. I hear him all the time, but never have been able to talk to him.
And you weren't even connected to the Lightning 6 antenna, right?
I didn't catch that. I'm trying to tune this thing in a little better. It's real noisy out here tonight.
Yeah, I said, you're not on your Lightning 6 antenna, are you?
Oh, negative. I'm on that Mako 5/8 ground plane antenna there.
Sometimes that's all you need is a good vertical angle, low angle of radiation, and there you go. Radio number 3, the Cobra Cam 88, actually now talking local. now Australia has faded away.
Break OTR.
Okay, well, that's not the hippopotamus. The break OTR, go ahead.
Oh, if you're talking to somebody else, I think I might have troubles here.
All right, I hear you. So if you can hear me, but yeah, something's cutting in and out. But you've got the floor. You're Radio 4, over. If you can get it to key up a couple more times.
You don't want to stay with it. Doesn't want to stay with it, but 82 on the Eagle, the Browning S23, R27.
All right, that's the radio tonight. That's the Browning radio that everybody seems to like. I'll pull up the one that Joe used to have. You think that may be the same radio, but it's sounding good here in Midtown, over.
Wow. All righty. Well, maybe I just need to use it more. It looks like it's staying keyed up right now. Maybe the love tap on up there. She shut down again. There we go. All righty.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you are just on the verge of enough RF to hit the bias on that thing.
Yeah, not wanting to key audio. Yeah, I just didn't want to. I don't know. Maybe too low power on the radio to key up other things, maybe.
That's what I'm thinking. It's just on the verge and it locks in and then doesn't lock, or there may be some mismatch, just enough mismatch so it's trying to go into protection, trying to protect you. But it sounds good with or without the negative or the reverse preamp, over. All right. Well, let's see if you start having people from Utah and Australia coming back to you, it's working. Radio number 4, another Browning Eagle R27 S23 from the Ditch Banks. Thanks.
Thank you, Dennis. Yep, she kicked down again. Yep, there we go. All right.
Yeah, big S7 signal when it's in there, but I can still hear you when it's not because the skip has died down. And Hans, the Cobra Cam 88 in its, I guess we'll call it barefoot mode, out of the box is the 5-watt DC input. I mean, that's per part 95, part 15 type acceptance, crystal controlled. I'll have to see if we've got a thing that says what the tube complement is. So typically it's going to be 3.5 to 4 watts. You might be able to peak it to get a little bit more, but my guess is he's probably between 3 and 5 watts on the AM output, so not too bad. Now, whether there might be some help from a range boost device, I can't really say, but you heard the Cobra Cam 88s really do have nice audio. There's the close-up of the one. There's a mod meter, and I'm going to scroll down, and I think he has the one that has the switch for the range boost. And do I have a tube complement? Don't have a tube complement for that, but probably 9, 10, or 11 tubes on that Cobra, which always sounds good. The Old Tube Radio Network, we are listening for Radio 5. And Foxman, happy birthday to your brother. That cake sounds good. I had a strawberry earlier, and I was like, it needs something to go with my strawberry. Cake would have been perfect. Okay, I heard a question concerning, or it was the Uniden Bearcat 980. Someone might be able to know that. What was the? Can you repeat the question over?
I was just wondering if it has the ability to be peaked in tune as other radios.
Yeah, they all do within range. I mean, they're going to have some transistorized output that says, the transistor will do this much, or it's rated for this much. But of course, you don't do that. You do a percentage of that. So, as we have demonstrated here on the Old Tube Radio Network, when someone says, "Let me go in and peak and strap the radio and put more resting carrier, and then put the audio on," and then sometimes you notice that it actually sounds better to have a little less resting carrier for the audio to have somewhere to go, a little bit of headroom. So you got to be careful when you think, well, maybe I can get a couple of extra watts out of that radio, and the answer is usually you can, but at what price? And sometimes having clear, undistorted audio will get you a better contact than having a little bit quieter noise floor coming in, but it's like, boy, you've got a great signal, but I can't understand a word you're singing. Over.
I totally get it. I think I'm just going to leave it super stock and hope it just sounds all right the way it is. And I have a feeling here real soon we're going to have to rely on it. Over.
Indeed, audio is not bad. That's sometimes where you can do some amazing things. Is if your radio is already good, it's got good forward modulation, there's no distortion, or there's no problems with the carrier, you can work on boosting your audio with compression or limiting to bring the average level up, but to keep it so that the peaks aren't putting the circuitry in the radio saying, okay, it's too much, I'm going to clamp down, I'm going to compress a little bit. You can do that yourself and sort of fool the radio. But anyway, what I'm hearing, you've got a good start. So there isn't too much you need to do. And then the other thing, of course, is working on the antenna. That's the big plus about the antenna is if you get one that transmits well and is at the right altitude, it's probably going to help you receive. So double bonus.
Yeah, 10-4. I back in the day, I was a little CB guy, even monitored Channel 9 for a long time with React. Invented a little catheter hat antenna, but I went for the Striker 810. I was going to go Cobra, like what I used to use, but I'm not sure if they're the same like back in the day.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of great radios to choose from. They all do quite well and lots of features. Of course, as you know, we're focusing tonight on the older radios with tube finals, sort of glow in the dark, hot to the touch. But what they did in the early, 40, 50 years ago, they didn't have a lot of restrictions on the audio circuits. They didn't have a lot of clipping. And, if you're over-modulating, the FCC says you've got to put in some circuits. That's why a lot of the radios sound quite loud and their average power is up, because there weren't the restrictions that they started putting in 5 and 10 years later in the late 70s. But it's all good, and you are sounding good. I'm glad you jumped in tonight.
Well, thank you much for helping me out. I have a friend who buys storage unit, and he said I told him, hey man, I'm looking for radios, radio, sideband, whatever. Told me he has the bucks, he's going to get them to me, and he'll give me anything that comes along. So I might be interested in all this conversation. Over.
Absolutely. Well, we are here every Saturday evening, typically from 8 to 10 p.m., talking to people like yourself and what we do best. And we're not doing a lot of it tonight because I think a lot of people are at the barbecue, and that's talking about and checking in the classic radio. Sort of like an old car show, where you have fins and chromes. I want to say hello to Big Rich 6520. Where is the fire extinguisher? It's actually still here. It's actually... Here it is. It is right here. This is the fire extinguisher. This is one of them. They've sort of packed the Old Tube Radio Network studios because now they're sort of afraid of what might happen. But we're working good tonight.
This is freaking awesome. I probably will be tuning in then, or listening in every Saturday. probably just most of the time will be listening in, but I do like to ask questions sometimes. Thank you.
All right, and hopefully we can find some answers. We're also streaming live at oldtuberadio.net, where there's a link to, believe it or not, one of those YouTube videos. Then that's anachronistic when you have the 21st century with videos and streaming meeting the 20th century with tube radios. Thanks for joining us. Just a little bit of time here, and we are listening for any more check-ins and possibly, just possibly, radio number 5.
Right on. Well, I'm going to back out. I do have...
Is this sound any better, Dennis? I don't know. I peeked and tweaked it, man. We got the magic screwdriver out, and 82 has peeked and tweaked it. It doesn't seem to be dropping out.
All right, and thanks to the other station there. And Ron, you know, that was a 100% full-flavored transmission, over.
All righty. Well, I think we got her figured out. You know, just had to knock some rust off and some dust off and spider webs and chase a few of the spiders out. I think she's going to stay keyed up now.
Yeah, it sounds good. Did you bring out you have to bring out the 600 grit sandpaper?
Yeah, well, the squeal is sounding kind of rough, but maybe that's because I have the RF gain button knob pulled out.
Could be. Well, it's not bad. The audio is a little... it's loud, but it's a little fuzzy. I've got the S meter up, and I'm thinking I should see it swinging forward more. It's sort of quivering. It's sort of bouncing back and forth, you know, up and down. It's not doing forward. So probably, even though you're 100% now, there's probably still a little mismatch thing going on.
All righty. Yeah, I think maybe not enough forward swing. I don't know. Maybe it's too much carrier and I should back that down or something.
Yeah, well, that doesn't look bad. I've got the full S meter up. That did not look bad. Your S7 well above the noise, and the audio is doing good. So if they were to be out in Australia or Hawaii or Utah or whatever, they would definitely be hearing you over.
All right. So I must have it in skip shooting mode. She's in skip shooting mode. So, all righty. Well, I'm going to reward myself with a nice cool drink and... hey, thanks for letting me get out there and check in and do a little tune and testing. So, all right, man. 7-3s from the ditch banks of Iowa.
All right, sounding good. Well, that's like Sean tonight. Sean tonight came in on his Eagle, and I actually had to stand by. I had to stand by while he talked, you know, to Australia. And then I get reports on the chat that they're hearing him just fine in South Carolina, and then we're having trouble to talk down the street. So that's the way things go. All right, thanks for checking in. All right, Jingle Singers are back, coming up to 10 o'clock. I was sort of dragging my feet. Harvey is out in the mobile. He might be listening. Harvey, if you're listening, hello, radio. Who else joined us? Plymouth in Minnesota is still in. Yellow Springs is still in. Old Bridge, New Jersey. Up in the balcony, way up there in the balcony, just popping in here at the last minute. We have plenty of items of interest in the green room, so join us down there. Old Bridge, where it is clear, 56 degrees at just past 1 o'clock. I promised you the Jingle Singers, and let me not break that promise.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
Plenty of room on the Old Tube Radio list. We'll be counting and amounting OTR standing by.
That is so cool. Like, what was the website again?
The website that is currently up is the oldtuberadio.net. You can look for the glowing tube to know that we are on the air, and there you will find links to the live. I think you can actually click on the video link, and it'll take you, assuming there's a video. Yeah, it'll take you over to the YouTube page, where indeed, if you watch the replay, you will hear yourself.
That is so cool, man. Thank you so much. I'm out.
How about it? 986 Central Cal. I'll try it one more time. Come on.
And I think our sporadic E-skip's opening up again.
Oh, come in. Come on. How about it? Come on.
All right, back to the studio for the final call. Radio check-ins, SWL check-ins, and or any items of interest. Yeah, Wagon Master, he's got a pretty decent antenna. And as Mr. JT would say, he also has a pretty decent reversed preamp. Now, that station that you heard on the Browning is also the moderator on Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Pacific time here on 36 lower sideband. It's called the Ditch Banks sideband net. So write yourself a post-it if you are around on Friday evenings at 8 o'clock to tune in to 36 lower. Listen for that voice that you heard. He runs the net, and there's a visitor check-in. So if you're hearing it, you will to definitely check in and see what's going on. And you know, sideband's a much easier gig sometimes than AM. All right, and let's see who just joined. Someone just joined us. Came in up there on the balcony. I see you waving. We used to have a little laser pointer. Came in from Clovis. We used to have a little laser pointer. You know, we could get your attention, right? And point it up there. But anyway, thanks for joining us. Yeah, that's the website, and there's a link to the YouTube video. Ready for counting and amounting. Anybody else checking in here at the Old Tube Radio Network?
How about it? 986 Central Cal. Try it one time. Come on.
That almost sounds like ground wave. All right, let me jump out of here. Let's get the totals.
This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. It's time now for the current OTR totals.
And this will be the current and final OTR totals for the evening here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Let me get to the REA meter. There you go. Get a little modulation percentage. Tonight, a little bit slow to be expected here with Father's Day coming up. Monday is actually a holiday, at least. I think it's all over, but at least here in California it is. Now, I don't like that. My symmetry meter is going below 0. That's usually an indication that there could be something bad happening, but hopefully not. And Squatch is in. All right, good deal. Tonight, SWLs, we had, where's my list? We had 21 on page 1, 20 on page 2, 16 on page 3, and 20 on page 4. No, I'm sorry, 26 on page 4 for a total of 83 consecutive, not consecutive, but a total of 83 SWLs tonight, which is not bad. It's nice to know that even after a few little sparks and flames that we are still around. You know, that's what 37 years of being around here can do. It just we're like the post office, neither rain nor sleet nor darkness of night. Radios tonight, we had 4. Well, that's better than 3, right? Most heard manufacturer, the Brownings tonight with 2, count them 2 Browning Eagles, the original Eagles from 1964, 65, the R27 paired with the S23 transmitter. Thanks to Cliff starting off with that one, and we did bookends tonight. Ron on his Browning Eagle tonight, ending things up. In between, Sean doing a good job with the Golden Eagle Mark IV and the Cobra Cam 88 for radios 2 and 3, respectively, where he was beaconing over to Utah, Hawaii, Australia, and all parts in between. All right, I won't hold it too long. We should be back next week. Harvey, if you're listening, we will get you checked in. I'm trying to see if he might be that unknown SWL out there tonight. 73, everybody. The bands are good. The bands are good. As you always say, if you're looking for a little bit more in the skip department, do not hesitate to study for and or upgrade your amateur radio license, or get your radio license so that you can do all things radio even more. It's endless. And as you know, it's a fun thing to do. 73, everybody. Thank you from the Old Tube Radio Network. And no flames. I do not smell smoke. It's a good thing. Catch you later. And the skip might be in all night. Let me go one more time before we go out of here to the DX map and see what is happening. On the DX map, you can see there is still activity. Pretty much around California, a little bit of Oregon, Colorado. If we click up to where it's going, it should be pointing all the way out to probably, out to Hawaii, Australia, north to south. So that is what is happening here on 11 meters. Will it last for long? I don't know. We are in cycle 25, of course, and we are still not anywhere close to the top of the cycle. So conditions should be getting better. That is, of course, better if you're looking for the skip. Good night from the Old Tube Radio Network. And there's a hippopotamus.
73 OTR, have a great evening.
All right, well, although you weren't from the Rock tonight, you sounded good.
Yeah, thank you. We may have to have a little discussion about that later on. Not tonight, though.
Okay, you know, that's a large endeavor, to say the least.
Yeah, I thought they had that dumb road closed for construction, but I can't remember. I checked it a couple days ago, and I think it's officially open now. So there might have to be an attempt here.
Okay, well, again, it's a pretty I don't know. It's a lot of work, and hopefully, you know, you can find some way to carry everything safely, and then who knows? And then we get a good night. Like tonight wasn't that bad. You probably, were you to have been there, you probably would have been talking to everywhere but the Central Valley.
You know, just before 8 o'clock, it actually sounded like the conditions were going to be pretty good. But that obviously kind of went out the window. Do we have any sort of a forecast what's going to be going on for the next couple weekends? as far as skip is concerned?
I don't know. There is that one weather forecaster channel where the lady gets on and sort of talks about these things. And, of course, there's the daily going to QRZ.com and looking at the solar stuff and kind of seeing, like, the hourly, daily thing that's going on. I don't even know. I'm not sure if I can put that up here before I go. Let me see if I can get a QRZ.com, because now you've got my interest peaked. Let me see if I can bring that. It will go up higher. No. Oh, well, there it is. It's, oops. All right. Before I blow some up here, let me bring it up. NOAA, solar data. What I'm looking for is that. A is 8. And K is 2. See, that's high. But here are the numbers. The solar flux index at 158, so that's above triple digits. Sunspot numbers at 110, so obviously things can be happening. Although right now they're saying good conditions are, of course, on the lower bands. I'm sorry, on the higher bands, lower frequency. Doesn't look like there's any other wackiness going on. But again, you know, those are just numbers. If you want to know what's happening, turn on the radio, right?
Yeah, that was actually what I was going to do, but of course chores and all that stuff kind of get in the way, and jury duty get in the way. Well, no matter what, I'm going to try it. I mean, worst case scenario, it's another ridiculous 2-meter HT check-in, but I got to do this. There has to be an attempt made on 11-meter tube check-in from the rock. I got to do it.
All right, and we had a crossband check-in tonight, so the crossband is up and running. Sorry, I'm getting used to the new foot switch. The crossband is up and running. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, I might get some tree trimming done, and I bet I will hear. Actually, from where you are, that's the clear shot that I have, but I'm pretty sure I would hear it. But it would be nice were my antenna to be up farther in the air. All right, I'm going to let things cool off. Say Happy Father's Day to those to which it applies or to whom it applies, and let the radio cool down. Maybe go check out 10 meters. Who knows?
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that after. Well, we've got a couple issues out in the front yard that I have to go deal with. But anyways, that's a topic for some other time. All right, 73. I might this week I might fire off an email or two, or maybe just see if you're floating around on 2 meters, just to maybe ask a couple questions. But I am going to try this idiotic rock thing. But we'll talk about that later. Have a good evening, and 73 to all.
All right. Well, we know it can work. It's just, you know, being the stars aligning and being in the right place at the right time, and then having some conditions that don't make some things a little bit wacky. All right, 73, and the Old Tube Radio Network is off for a couple of days. It will be safe to touch that glowing 6L6 in moments. All right, let me, before I go, what do we got? Let's put up the estimator here. No, I'm going to keep that. Let's see if we can actually go to 10 meters and grab any beacons. I don't think, see, I'm not on a, I'm still on my 11-meter antenna, so that's the problem. I'm attenuating a little bit, now only hearing his birdies. Now, were I to go to, I'm still attenuated, right? Would we go to 40 meters, still on the wrong antenna?
Charlie, do you copy?
Say 40 meters is still
there. Kilo November 6 station, stand by 1 second. We will pick you up. Kilo Foxtrot 7 station, go ahead.
Kilo Foxtrot 7, November Papa
Okay,
Charlie,
see, that's
6 QRP.
that's still going on 40 meters. All right, we'll shut it down and catch you all next
writing
week.
and typing and trying to coordinate my eyes, ears, and mouth at the same time, which is difficult for me because I am old. KF7, November Papa Charlie. Understand your stroke 6 operating QRP, is that correct?
30 miles south
Once.
of Eureka, in my cabin in the Redwoods. Back to you.
Roger that. Eureka, California?
Yes, 30 miles south in the town of Shiveley. Back to you.
Yeah, okay. I believe that's Franklin there, KF7 NPC. I'm going to put you in logbook right now. You're at about a 5.8, but the band's up and down a little bit. I know your QRP in your cabin. Let me pass you over to Pete. He's got a little better receive than me, just because that's the way he is. But Pete, over to you to pick up KF7 NPC stroke 6 operating QRP. Over to you, Pete.
Oh, gosh, John, I'm cracking up. Yeah, just the way I am. Anyway, Franklin, Kilo Foxtrot 7, November Papa Charlie, QRP. This is Alpha Charlie 7 Yankee, AC7Y out of Reno, Nevada. The name here is Pete, Papa Echo Tango Echo. How copy?
Roger. Both of you are coming in 20 over here from the Redwoods. Thanks very much for picking me up. I know it's a hassle to listen to QRP, but I've enjoyed the conversation, and I'm really appreciative of what you guys don't do. So thanks very much for taking my call. Back to you.
Oh, thank you for the flowers there for what we're doing here. We enjoy doing this, and it seems to work. A lot of people enjoy the format that John and I are doing here, and we've been doing it on and off for years. And if you've been listening, the guy that started this format for us, at least in Reno, Nevada, was Scotty W7WC. Became a silent key last week and a half or so ago. But Franklin, your QRP, how much power are you running, and what kind of antenna are you using right now?
Yeah, this is what I throw up when I'm down here. It's just a G5RB Junior 61 feet.
Oh, very good. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm no expert on the G5RV Junior, but my partner in crime here, John, is, so maybe he want to throw a comment in there. Frankly, you're doing a really, really good job coming into my station. You're booming coming into my station here. You're 5.8, and I'm running attenuation, so very, very impressive signal with what you're doing there at QRP coming into northern Nevada. So with that, KF7 NPC, this is Alpha Charlie 7 Yankee. I'm going to throw it back over to John, because he is an expert on the G5RV Junior. John, AE7K, over to you.
Yeah, very good, Pete. You don't have to insult me. And I know you're not doing that on the G5RV Junior. But, hey, Franklin, I do have a G5RV Junior out in the shadows, my first HF antenna. And I understand you're on the KX3. I'm guessing you're pushing out about 10 watts on that thing. Go ahead.
I've got it cranked all the way up to 12. I wanted to make sure it got through to you guys.
Roger, copy that. 12 watts. You're going QRO on that thing. Well, it's doing a good job, Franklin. And from your cabin there, from your G5RV, 8 foot off the ground. KX3, 12 watts. You're doing a good job here into northern Nevada. And thanks for stopping by. And do stick around if you wish. Okay, so with that, there was another station out there, a KN6 station. Please come back with your call sign. This is Alpha Echo 7 Kilo. Yeah, it's KN6 GLC, over. KN6 GLC, go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to see if I can make the trip up to northern Nevada and Reno, over.
Yeah, no, we don't have any copy on that. Sorry. let me make sure I got the copy right. Kilo November 6, Golf Lima Charlie?
Yeah, that's correct, over.
Yeah, you're coming in good here, but I'm looking at QRZ and it's popping up another call sign. Did you get a new call sign there?
Yeah, Kilo November 6, Golf Lima Charlie, over.
Well, that makes sense because I wrote it down wrong. Kilo, you're definitely making the trip in here. Golf Lima Charlie. All right, yeah. You're definitely making the trip up here to northern Nevada. Is that Craig?
Yeah, that's correct. Down here in Southern California in San Pedro. I got you at about 10 over S9 there, over.
Yeah, very good, Craig. You're coming in here 5-9, peaking 10 over as well. I'm looking at QRZ here. I don't think we've worked before, but I'm going to put you in the logbook as a 10 over, okay?
Yeah, roger that. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, just real quick. I didn't want to rag chew or anything. Just wanted to see how this thing was working, over.
Well, whatever the thing is, it's working well. Craig, if you wouldn't mind just quickly, I know you don't want to rag chew, but sorry, when you step into the sand pit here, you got to give us a little info here because that's what we do. Tell me about your station real quick.
Okay, I'm running an ICOM 7300 with a Meritron AL811H, probably doing about 300 watts. And the antenna is a BKW, over.
BKW, what antenna is that?
It's a ZS6 BKW. It's a dipole wire antenna, over.
Yeah, copy. Doing a great job up here, Craig. Let me pass you over to Pete. I'm sure he's going to give you probably an even better signal report. Pete, over to you to pick up their Kilo November 6th Golf Lima Charlie. It's Craig in SoCal. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, very good. Thank you there, John. Well, good evening, Craig. Kilo November 6, Golf Lima Charlie. This is Alpha Charlie 7 Yankee, AEC 7Y. Name is Pete. Pop Echo Tango Echo out of Reno, Nevada. Craig, you're booming in here. You're 5.9 plus 10, peaking 15 over. Great signal tonight. Back to you.
Yeah, Pete, AEC 7Y. Yeah, man. You too, dude. You have beautiful audio. Very, very big signal coming in, over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, thanks for that. You're 73. I think you said you're running 7,300. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. 7,300, over.
Yeah, I tell you what, I miss my 7300 for different reasons than what I'm running now. But I bought one of the very first 7300s off the production line in 2016, and that was my primary rig for years. And I bought it as an experiment because we started hearing when ICOM released that rig, they were popping up like mushrooms all over the band. So I said, I got to get one of these things, and I said, I'll play with it for a month or two, then I'll pass it on. And I kept that thing for years, and I really, really enjoyed it. And then I bought a Yaesu FTDX 101 Delta, which I'm on now, and the 7300 took a back seat. And I kind of miss that rig, so yours is sounding good. I've never heard a bad sounding 7300. So very, very good there, Craig. Big signal coming into my station in Reno, and your 7300 is sounding fantastic. Just curious, what mic are you running on the 7300?
Well, I hate to say it, but it's a Chinese BM800, over.
Oh, you don't have to hate to say it. It sounds great.
All right, appreciate it, fellas. Just wanted to check in real quick, see how I was doing up there north of me. I appreciate the feedback and all that good stuff, guys. Have a good weekend.
You too there, my friend. Don't be a stranger. John and I are out here frequently on and off throughout the week, particularly on Saturday night. So if you hear us, again, don't be a stranger. Jump in and make your presence known. The Kilo November 6th, Golf Lima Charlie. This is Alpha Charlie 7 Yankee. Have a great weekend there, Craig, and we'll say 73. With that, back over to you, John, AE7K, AC7Y.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. And hey, Craig, if you're still there before you go, KN6 GLC, got a quick question for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I agree with Pete. Your audio sounds good there on your microphone, your station. Doing good with your amplifier there. Were you able to copy the station Eureka there, KF7NPC, stroke 6 there? That was Franklin. Did you have a copy on that station?
I could hear him here and there. It wasn't very readable, but I could hear him, over.
Yeah, roger that. He's up in Eureka up there in the Redwoods, running 12 watts on his KX3. Got it cranked all the way up on a G5 RV Junior, 8 foot off the ground. I'm surprised we could hear him as well. Anyway, thanks for the feedback there, Craig. Just kind of curious to see where the radio signals are bouncing around tonight. So I'm going to finish with a KN6 GLC, Craig. And as Pete mentioned, don't be a stranger. Stick around if you wish. This is Alpha Echo 7 Kilo, John Sparks, Nevada, with my partner in crime, Pete, Alpha Charlie 7 Yankee. He's out there lurking in the shadows, waiting to make a contact. Anybody else would like to join into our informal rag chew, please come back when you're
November 5 Delta India Mike. Delta
Okay, I had a couple there. Apologize, guys. A little slow tonight on the trigger, but let's start with the station ending in Delta India Mike.
Roger, AE7K and Alpha Charlie 7 Yankee, N5DIM, Tony, Tango Oscar November Yankee over here in Sacramento. Was just in here, I'm packing up some radios, getting ready for field day, and heard you guys booming in here. Great signals, got both of you the good 15 over S9 here, and we're just running old FT101 CD Mark III. So a couple of 6146s in the final into a G5 RV up about 40 feet. But just wanted to let you guys know you're booming in here, and I appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, hey Tony, very good. Nice to make contact with you over here in Sparks, Reno area, out of Sacramento there. I understand you're running the FT101 there on a G5 RV, and you're getting ready for field day, is that correct?
Yeah, we go up every year up off of Highway 88, up around Bear River Reservoir, about 6,000 feet, and we go early, and we take our quads and fishing poles, and we make a little vacation out of it, looking at the